Hello and welcome to another World Cup edition of the Dream Team Professor podcast. This is a match day recap where we look at all the top point scorers and key talking points from yesterday's games, and then we'll just do a quick preview of today's fixtures, which are Brazil versus South Korea and Croatia versus Japan. Apologies, this episode's gone out a little bit later than usual. We might have enjoyed the England-Senegal game a little bit too much at the pub yesterday, so recording in the morning was not really an option. But we'll get started anyway. So now we're down to the knockouts. It's only 2 games each day, and we start with France versus Poland, which finished 3-1 to France. Star man was Mbappe again, and he's just had such a good tournament. 2 goals and 1 assist for him in this game, and he's up to 5 goals and 2 assists in total. So he's having a really, really good tournament. It was a 9.7 rating for him in this game and 20 points. So if you didn't have him in your team, it was really quite damaging. And you'll see from my vlog team that actually I didn't have him in that one. So pretty gutted about that. Olivier Giroud, 3.5 million. He scored his 3rd goal of the tournament, and he actually become France's leading goal scorer as well. So yeah, really good achievement for him, but I can't help but think Mbappe is probably going to be taking that off him in not too much time. You had Dembele as well. We did flag him as a midfield option. To be honest, I wasn't thinking that he was that appealing, but he got an assist in this game and a 7.4 rating, so finished with 5 points, so not bad at all there. If you're starting to look towards moving maybe to France sort of team or Brazil team towards the end of the tournament, he could be a really good option at 3.5 now. You had Thuram, who's a 3.5 million striker. He got an assist in this game, but not someone I'd be looking to bring in. But Varane and Koundé in defence, they were the only 2 that really got ratings, so 3 points for each of them. But actually it was Upamecano and Hernandez that I thought would be the best options, but no points for them. I find it quite surprising as well that Pavard hasn't been starting at right back. They've had Koundé there, who I think is usually a centre back. So that's been quite a surprise, with obviously Varane starting as centre back as well. So yeah, I thought Pavard from Bayern Munich would be getting more minutes. The only real point scorer for Poland was Lewandowski, but it was a really pathetic moment in the game. So they got a penalty right at the end, and Lewandowski had already missed one in the tournament, and he came up and done a stupid little stutter and absolutely fluffed it. Hugo Lloris saved it, but luckily for him it was a retake, and because Lloris came off his line and he ended up putting the penalty away in the end. But yeah, the penalty was shocking before that. Then on to England versus Senegal, which finished 3-0 to England, and it was Phil Foden that got the star man in this game with 12 points. He got 2 assists in this game. He's on 1 goal and 2 assists in total. Then you had Saka who scored his 3rd goal of the tournament, and he's on 26 points in total. I think he's one of England's top point scorers now, behind Harry Maguire. Bellingham as well, he was incredible this game, played out of his skin. Really good to watch him. He got an assist for a Henderson goal, which is kind of a weird combo, not one that you'd really have expected. So yeah, Henderson got 8 points for scoring and a 7.6 rating, and Bellingham got the assist and finished with 5 points. You had Harry Kane, who finally got his 1st goal of the tournament. Really well taken as well. So 8 points for him and a 7.8 rating. He's on 1 goal, 3 assists in total. So he has been contributing with those attacking returns as well. But it was Kyle Walker started at the back. You had Kyle Walker, Maguire, Shaw and Pickford all got ratings. John Stones didn't manage to get the rating. He got 6.8, so finished with 5 points. But I was a little bit gutted that Kieran Trippier didn't come on. I kept him in quite a few of my teams. I did see rumours that Walker was going to be starting, but in my head he hasn't really been fully fit going into this tournament. So I thought really that if we did get control of the game, there might be a chance again that Walker would go off and Trippier would come on. But instead, we made the full 5 substitutions, but Trippier didn't get any minutes. So pretty gutted there, because I did think at 4.5 million is expensive, but I did think it might be worth keeping him in, because if we do get to these tougher games, they might look to go to 5 at the back and they could play both. But yeah, it wasn't to be, so no points for Trippier if you kept him in your team. But fair play if you did downgrade him to Kyle Walker. I think Kyle Walker's 3.5 instead of 4.5. So you could get a bit of extra budget doing it that way if you do want to have England defenders going forward. So then on to today's games. That Japan versus Croatia fixture, I don't think it's going to be one that's going to be really heavily targeted, but we will cover it anyway. And then later on, 7 p.m, we've got Brazil versus Korea, which I think this is going to be a really popular game for people bringing in players. Then on to Croatia versus Japan then. So Like I said, I probably wouldn't look to bring players in for this game specifically, but if you do have any Croatia players, I wouldn't really be in a rush to take them out just for this game. Perisic, I still think he's a fairly good option at 4. There was the game where he got 2 assists, but other than that, he has been fairly quiet. You've got Modric, who is on pretty much all set pieces and takes penalties. That could be a good shout for this game. Or in defence, I'd say Sosa or Gvardiol seem to be the 2 best options personally. But just one thing to consider, if you are going to bring any players in for this game, there's a tough fixture potentially awaiting these two. If Brazil win their game, it's going to be either Croatia versus Brazil or Japan versus Brazil. So personally, if you're going to have any of these players, it's not going to be a long-term hold for me. So then straight into that Brazil game, and I think a lot of people are going to be targeting players from Brazil for this fixture. So they're playing South Korea. Neymar is expected to be back for this game. So he's always going to be a really good option in terms of attacking returns and high ratings. But I did notice, obviously he's only played the 1 game in this tournament so far, and I did notice he just seemed to be playing a lot deeper than I expected. So they have him down as like one of 2 midfielders, but it seemed like he was playing more of a 10, but he was coming really deep to collect the ball. So yeah, I'd think it'd be more appealing if he was playing in one of those more forward positions. But at 7 million, he's still going to be a really good option. But I think Richarlison's probably going to be the one that I'm mainly looking at in those attacking options. So 5.5 million. And he obviously had a really good first game. Not so much in the second, which was disappointing. But now Gabriel Jesus is looking like he's going to be out. Well, he's going to miss the whole tournament, but they're saying he could be out for up to 3 months as well, which is disappointing for Arsenal. But Richarlison, with Gabriel Jesus out, it looks like he's probably going to play the full 90 minutes, unless they do have a full shift around. I'd imagine that he's going to play the majority of the game. And then I'd move on to Vinicius Junior as well. So 6 million. He has been a bit disappointing so far for his price. He's only on 5 points at the minute. He's had an assist and a rating so far, so not great returns. But he is a player that is capable of these big attacking returns. He's got 11 goals and 4 assists for Real Madrid this season. So he's a player that's in quite a few of my teams, and I think I will keep him in. I do expect that he'll kick on in this tournament. And then we have Sandro at 4 million. So personally, I do think that these defenders for Brazil are all really good options. But Sandro at 4 million, he's had 2 assists so far, and he's the highest scoring player for this Brazil's team. So I'd personally look to target him first if you're going to bring in one of the defenders. And then I'd see what happens on the other side. So who scored are saying Danilo could start, but he did get injured in one of the first games. So I'd keep an eye on that before making any early moves. If he doesn't play Danilo, it looks like they will play Militao, who's 4.5 million. I think Danilo was 3.5. So you could save a bit if Danilo starts, but Militao's a good option too. I still do like Thiago Silva, Marquinhos and Alisson as options, but they're all around the sort of 5 mil and 5.5 million bracket, and it's really quite expensive to bring a defender in like that, especially if they're a centre-back or a goalkeeper. They're not really that likely to get attacking returns. So that's why I do think the full-back options look a bit more appealing, but moving towards the end of the tournament, I would still consider bringing in some of those more central and expensive options. So here's a look at how my team got on yesterday. So 24 points for the day, and then that puts me up to 232 points in total. I have 17 transfers left, and I'm looking to make 3 changes today, bringing all Brazil players in. So I'll move on to that in a minute. But in goal I had Noppert, who obviously didn't play. Kieran Trippier I had, which was really disappointing. 4.5 million, you want him to be starting. And I fully expected that he would get on in place of Kyle Walker. And in my head I just thought, with Kyle Walker's sort of fitness issues, I mean, now it makes sense that they might want to give him 90 minutes because it is almost a full week between games. But I kind of thought as soon as the game was won that we might want to wrap him in cotton wool, let him recover and keep him fresh for facing Mbappe, because that's going to be a real challenge. But it wasn't to be. Trippier didn't come on, so no points for him. Nothing for Ake because he didn't play. I had Luke Shaw and Maguire, 8 points from both of them. I'm happy with that. I've got Musalia that's who has been eliminated. I actually did take him out for Olmo yesterday. Just got that one done and out of the way. Vinicius Junior in the middle, so he's going to be playing Korea. I'm hoping that he can get an attack and return in that one. Asensio is the other midfielder, and then I've got Messi, Gakpo and Harry Kane, who obviously scored as well. So 8 points for him. So 24 points for the day, and it was all from England players. So I'm pretty happy with how that went, but I would have preferred if I could have got another 8 out of the Trippier move potentially, but I just didn't want to waste the transfer in moving Trippier to Walker. I didn't think that one transfer would be worth risking for potentially just a clean sheet point. And so the transfers that I've made today, or I'm going to be making today once I see the lineups, it's going to be Kieran Trippier out for Sandro of Brazil, Ake out for Militao for Brazil. If I find out Militao's not starting and it's Danilo, then I'll happily swap it to Danilo. And then I'm going to take Harry Kane out for Richarlison. So 3 Brazil players, and I'm really going to target this Korea game. I have a good feeling that Brazil are going to deliver in this. And if you'd seen my strategy video that I posted out, I'm going to link it in the top right corner here. I'm going to look to move towards Brazil players now because I think they've got quite a good run in the draw, and I expect them to make the final. Whereas with England, I've got a lot of England players here, and quite honestly, I'm not that confident about that France game. So especially with having 3 defenders, I think the move to Brazil makes a bit more sense. I'll have this Korea game, and then potentially in the next round, it might be Croatia or Japan. That is everything for this video, so good luck with your teams today. I'm going to put that link to that knockout strategy video that I made at the end of this video, so look out for that. And please do like and subscribe to the channel for more Sun Dream Team World Cup content. Thanks for watching.